Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy and Conservatives for Clean Energy North Carolina, we're excited to welcome all of you to our 7th annual Clean Energy Champions event. We are delighted you could join us. And a special welcome to our distinguished guest speakers, and especially our award winners who are leading the way to create a stronger, cleaner economy for North Carolina. I'm Susan Monroe, Deputy Director with Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy, and it's an honor to co-host this event with Lori Barnhart from Conservatives for Clean Energy North Carolina, and we'll hear from Lori in a moment. But first, what a week it's turning out to be for our state. Not one, but 2 huge EV announcements for North Carolina. I'm sure most of you have heard the good news from yesterday that Toyota plans to invest $1.29 billion and create 1,750 jobs for a battery making plant at the Greensboro Randolph County megasite, representing the largest capital investment in the state's history. The plant will be the first to produce automotive batteries for Toyota in North America, and Toyota has announced it is committed to using 100% renewable energy to power this new facility. And the second announcement comes from a rival headquartered in Charlotte, where they'll construct a high voltage battery module assembly plant, investing $115 million and creating an additional 150 jobs. Groundbreaking clean energy news like this is truly one of the reasons that today's event is one of the most anticipated of the year. It's an opportunity to shine a bright light on clean energy champions in our state, our businesses, our state legislators, and chambers of commerce who are advancing clean energy technologies and economic development opportunities in the communities all across North Carolina. And it's the economic opportunity that is at the core of Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy. We are a national network of more than 1,300 chambers with a large footprint in North Carolina. We're supporting chambers and economic development organizations throughout the state to advance and amplify an equitable clean energy economy while highlighting business leadership in the areas of clean energy, climate action, and resilience. And now I am very pleased to introduce Lori Barnhart with Conservatives for Clean Energy North Carolina. Lori, so good to be with you to honor our clean energy champions today.
Thank you so much, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. And a big thank you to all of you for joining us this afternoon. And as Susan said, my name is Lori Barnhart, and I am the State Director for Conservatives for Clean Energy in North Carolina. Since our launch 7 years ago, Conservatives for Clean Energy has led the way in educating conservative leaders in North Carolina about the economic benefits and the political strength of North Carolina's clean energy policy and opportunities. And CCE also now has a staff in Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Whether they be conservative members of the U.S. Congress, statewide elected officials, state legislators, or even local elected officials, we are all working diligently to grow North Carolina's clean energy jobs and investments. So now, as we continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, we are hopeful that North Carolina will continue with the advancements made in recent years in providing greater access to affordable, cleaner sources of energy for our businesses and individuals. North Carolina's recent policy advancements will continue to create more jobs in the clean energy arena, just like it's done over the past decade. And clean energy will continue to play a tremendous role in creating jobs and driving economic development, especially in the more rural areas of North Carolina. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon. We have a great event, so sit back and take it all in.
Thank you, Lori. I know that I am inspired by our 2021 Clean Energy Champion Award winners, and I can't wait for all of you to learn more about each of them. We're going to start today with our 3 Business Leadership Award recipients, representing a great mix of sectors. First, let's set the stage. There are more than 340 companies worldwide that have goals to power their operations with 100% renewable energy. And close to 70 of these companies have major operations in North Carolina. Our first Clean Energy Champion Award goes to one such trailblazer, and it's also one of our nation's premier biotechnology companies. Biogen plans to meet its 100% renewable energy goal by 2040. They're transitioning their fleet to electric vehicles, and they're encouraging suppliers and their employees to also become fossil fuel free. Biogen has a major presence in the Research Triangle Park for nearly 26 years. And in March, Biogen announced plans to build a new gene therapy manufacturing facility in the RTP, which will increase its North Carolina workforce to approximately 1,900 employees. We also want to recognize Biogen's engagement this year with members of the North Carolina General Assembly in advocating for legislation that will give electricity customers greater access to cleaner and more affordable energy sources. Amazing work, Biogen. In a moment, we will hear from Miles Devaney, who will accept Biogen's award. But first, let's take a look at this video.
The climate crisis is a health crisis, and as a life science company interested in making therapies for patients, it's natural that we would also be interested in reducing the untoward effect of the climate on people's health.
We were the first company in the life science industry to take a leadership position on climate change by becoming carbon neutral.
In 2014, we achieved our commitment to purchase 100% of our electricity from renewable sources, nearly halving our reliance on fossil fuels.
Now the scientific consensus is that carbon neutrality is no longer enough. Healthy Climate, Healthy Lives initiative is a 20-year, $250 million initiative with the goal of eliminating fossil fuels across our operations.
Climate change is an urgent public threat, and there is no other answer than to change the way we do our business to reduce our environmental impact.
When I think about a company like Biogen going fossil fuel free, it's a really impressive commitment. On the other hand, it's extremely necessary. If you think about the kinds of actions that will really meet the magnitude of the climate challenge, not many companies are doing this right now.
Our goal is to advance the science and galvanize action on climate and health to build a more sustainable future for all.
Biogen is honored to be recognized as a North Carolina Clean Energy Champion by the Conservatives for Clean Energy and the Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy. Hello, everyone. I'm Miles Devaney, General Manager and Site Head for our Gene Therapy Manufacturing Facility, currently under construction here at Biogen and RTP. As some of you may know, RTP is home to approximately 1,900 Biogen colleagues and to 2 flagship manufacturing campuses. Biogen is honored to be recognized as a North Carolina Clean Energy Champion by the Conservatives for Clean Energy and the Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy. Your advocacy to explore clean energy options is critical for business here in North Carolina and for a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable future for all. As you heard in the video, after achieving carbon neutrality in 2014, last year Biogen launched Healthy Climate, Healthy Lives, a groundbreaking $250 million 20-year commitment to go fossil fuel free across our operations and address the deeply interrelated issues of climate, health, and equity. Since we launched Healthy Climate, Healthy Lives, we have been able to sustain 100% renewable electricity for our operations, began an electric fleet vehicle program in 13 countries, committed 16% of our suppliers to source 100% renewable electricity by 2030, and engaged nearly 15% of our employees in climate goals. This initiative and our ongoing efforts in healthy equity, innovation, and diversity, equity, and inclusion helped Biogen extend our industry record as the most frequently recognized biotech company on the Dow Jones Sustainable World Index, earning recognition for the 9th consecutive year. Biogen was the first Fortune 500 company to commit to becoming fossil fuel free. Energy policy at the national level and in the states has a major impact on our ability to fulfill that commitment with reliable, cost-efficient, renewable energy options. North Carolina's passage of House Bill 951 gives us greater confidence that we and other like-minded businesses can meet these obligations. Biogen has been growing our North Carolina operations since we first started operating the state in the mid-1990s. and we're committed to growing in a sustainable manner. In fact, just a few weeks ago, we broke ground on a planned state-of-the-art 192,000 square foot gene therapy manufacturing facility here in RTP that is being designed with the most advanced sustainability standards regarding energy use, waste management, and water consumption. As head of our local gene therapy operations, I'm particularly proud of the direction we're going. Biogen takes its role as a leader on climate and health seriously. We continue to advance this work with a sense of urgency in order to promote a world that is healthy, equitable, and sustainable for all. Thank you.
And now our second business award goes to a company that for most of us is a household name. More than likely, we use, consume, or purchase their wide range of products regularly for ourselves, our families, and our pets. Our next Clean Energy Champion Award winner is Nestle, and we are thrilled that they will be opening their new Purina Pet Care Manufacturing Facility in Eden, North Carolina, which is just north of Greensboro. For those of you who are familiar with Rockingham County, Nestle Purina purchased the old Miller Coors Brewery in Eden, and they're revitalizing and transforming it into an innovative, technically advanced pet food manufacturing facility. Nestle is one of those national trailblazers that Susan mentioned earlier that have set ambitious goals to power their worldwide operations by 100% renewable energy and carbon reduction goals. And as someone who grew up on a farm in Pender County, I also want to applaud Nestle for being the first corporate partner to join the Net Zero Initiative, which is an industry-wide effort that will play a key role in helping U.S. dairy to make progress toward greenhouse gas emission reductions and significant improvements in water usage from field to farm gate through innovative technologies and practices. Now, Nestle is not sitting on the sidelines until they cut their grand opening ribbon next year. Their staff has already become actively engaged in North Carolina, including the incredible work that Meg Villarreal, Nestle's manager of policy and public affairs, did with legislators during this year's legislative session in advocating for stronger, cleaner energy policies and programs. It is my honor today to present the Clean Energy Champion Award to Meg Villarreal, who is accepting the award for Nestle. Congratulations, Meg.
Lori, thank you so much. I am so honored to accept this award today on behalf of Nestle and our brand new Purina plant in Eden, North Carolina. The work that we've been able to do over the last couple of years on HB 951 and on its eventual passage has just been incredibly rewarding and important work. And I was honored to work with so many incredible colleagues throughout the state as we got this across the finish line. So thank you very much.
Our next award goes to Trophy Brewing, located right here in Raleigh. I am super excited about this because I had the pleasure of meeting one of the co-owners, David Meeker, and actually having a beer with him at his place of business recently. David and his partner, Chris Powers, established Trophy Brewing in 2014, and they have shown how small businesses can benefit from solar energy in not only lessening their impact on the environment, but they get a break on their bills. David, thank you so much for being such a great host to my husband and me at Trophy Brewing and for the awesome beer. But before you say a few words, let's watch this great video with your co-partner, Chris Powers.
My name is Chris Powers. I'm the co-owner here of Trophy Brewing Company. And our inspiration for integrating solar into this remodel here was kind of us seeing what other breweries were starting to do. Our goal was always thinking about LEED certification and what we could do to lessen our impact on the environment and what we could do to be a more sustainable business. We wanted to, one, think about the environment, two, get a break on some of our bills so we can turn some of that into real money, and three, we thought it was the most responsible thing that we could do. The benefits that we've seen since we've installed solar panels, we've seen some money savings. We've seen we've posted some photos of it, and our neighbors and our friends in the business have reached out just to say how much they respect us for doing it and how excited they are about solar panels, and say, I didn't even know they were up there. How do you do that? Clean energy is important as a small business because it's an opportunity for us to show that no matter the size of your business, there's an opportunity to think about the future. We want a better environment for our kids, and we want to make sure that we are doing our best to lessen our footprint on the environment. and showing that we as a small business can do it means anybody can. Trophy Brewing is a community-focused business that's excited about participating in solar and renewable energy sources and doing our best to show that even small businesses can participate in solar energy.
Thanks, Lori, so much for the award. I was so proud of it when I got it the other night at Trophy that I put it on our shelf there for customers to see. And so I don't have it with me today, but all our customers are there. Two things I wanted to say about our solar project at Trophy on Morgan Street is one is during construction, it's sort of the last thing to go on. It's sort of the cherry on top of a great project, but that also means by the time you get to it, you're over budget, and that's one of the line items that can get cut. And actually, our bank and architect were sort of encouraging us to cut it, but we stuck with it, and we kept it in, and we paid for it. And I'm so glad we did because it has paid off for us in so many ways. It's of course generating power and reducing our electric bill. We got a great tax credit, but also in other ways that you might not expect. Our customers, I think, come back more often because they're proud of us for having that, for doing the right thing. And then it's also been so fulfilling for us as an ownership group to know we have a solar system on our building. So I'd encourage every other small business to do the same. Thanks again. We're so proud of this.
What an impressive group of North Carolina businesses taking the lead on clean energy in the state. And, we're all familiar with the enormous economic investment in EV innovation, solar, or onshore wind development. But there is much more on the horizon, much more. Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy had the honor to take part in two recent events. One at Elizabeth City State University Regional Economic Summit, and our first ever North Carolina Offshore Wind Chamber of Commerce Summit in Wilmington. We're pleased to have with us today one of the guest speakers from each of those events, Arkita Howard from Crowley's New Energy Division, a company we hope to see much more of in the near future.
Thank you, Susan. I am extremely excited to be with you to introduce the premiere of a video showcasing a newer form of clean energy generation from North Carolina, offshore wind. Crowley is thrilled at the opportunity to help lead the development of offshore wind right here in North Carolina. You've got the supply chain, good port infrastructure, and staging sites to support the industry. We see it firsthand with our logistics and shipping services in Wilmington. Our new energy division is ready to help build successes for the industry and help build an equitable workforce to support everyone here. And we're not alone. We're one of many companies who's looking to partner, build, and invest to help North Carolina reach its offshore wind goals. But don't take it from me. Here's what North Carolina legislators, economic development professionals, and educational leaders are saying about offshore wind development in the great state of North Carolina.
This is a proven job creator. And what's great about offshore wind is there are so many components in every turbine. It will not only employ thousands of people in offshore wind here in America, and particularly in North Carolina as well, but all those components can be manufactured here in the United States.
This summit actually is the start of conversations around how we can continue to contribute to workforce development, sustainable energy, all those different areas that we have not in the past tapped into.
North Carolina has one of the deepest supply chains, manufacturing supply chains on the East Coast. So with 8,000 components in a wind turbine, and because we have that manufacturing base in our state, we're ready.
Hello, I'm Congressman David Rouser, and I'm honored to welcome you to this year's Offshore Wind Summit. I've often said where there is a plentiful supply of energy, there is prosperity. I've always been an all-of-the-above energy proponent. Energy from every source has its rightful place. Strategically placed wind projects offshore in North Carolina present an exciting opportunity for our state to become a leader in offshore wind energy development while contributing to economic prosperity and job growth for years to come.
Especially on the back of an pandemic, a lot of us have had our head down, and I think it's time for us to lift our heads up and take a look at what resources we have, and we have a lot of resources in this area, especially now with access to global markets. We have a lot more opportunity than we've ever had in this region.
A great benefit of bringing any new industry to an area is the job creation, but not just creating new jobs, but also to diversify jobs people already have to go and expand and create greater earning opportunities for the businesses to diversify what they're doing.
Spansat has been a part of the wind industry since its inception. We are focused in the installation and erecting of wind turbines, wind towers. We've been very successful in the onshore business, and we're excited to be a part of the conversation for offshore wind here in the U.S.
To get trained and to be in the field for 5 years, you'll be a subject matter expert. And that's really valuable.
It's not only a job creator, it's going to be providing new taxes for roads, railroads, schools, hospitals, all of the things that our communities rely on and need.
We see the possibility, one, of high-paying jobs if it's a manufacturing, even supply chain. So steel is 100% recyclable. Nucor has always been a big steward of the environment, very environmentally friendly. Recycled content, recycled steel has always been part of our DNA.
So if you're separating or transitioning out of the military, you're getting ready to retire, and you want to embark on that second career or that second phase of your life, this creates a really unique opportunity for you to stay right at home, earn a very good wage, and participate in your local economy, enjoy your quality of life in Carteret County.
We have the strongest manufacturing economy on the East Coast, including more than 55 companies that already serve the onshore wind industry. I look forward to working with my colleagues in Congress and all of you here today to ensure North Carolina is able to take advantage of all that offshore wind has to offer.
As you can tell, there is a lot of excitement about the economic development and manufacturing supply chain opportunities associated with offshore wind and capturing our state share of the more than $140 billion of investment opportunity. We are also all in to help build a stronger, more affordable, and equitable clean energy future for North Carolina. What does that look like? Our distinguished panel this afternoon will share their thoughts on several topics. Joining us today are North Carolina Representative John Soka, Chairman of the House Energy and Public Utilities Committee, Peter Lefford, General Counsel and Director of Policy with the North Carolina Sustainable Energy Association, and Meg Villarreal, Manager of Policy and Public Affairs with Nestle. And to Meg, congratulations again on Nestle's award, and we can't wait for your new facility to open in North Carolina. We've aptly named this panel North Carolina Crystal Ball, What's on the Horizon for Clean Energy Opportunities? And I can think of no one else better suited to offer a glimpse of what's ahead than these three individuals. We're going to start with Peter, who is closely involved with everything clean energy related at the North Carolina General Assembly, North Carolina Utilities Commission, and with other important venues and decision makers. Peter, great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Susan, for that introduction. I'm going to go through a few things about House Bill 951 before our general discussion. I couldn't decide if a photo of a mountain road or the Beatles song, The Long and Winding Road, would be better to describe the lengthy 4-year process that we've all been on that led to the General Assembly passing House Bill 951, the Energy Solutions for North Carolina legislation. But I wanted to remind everybody of all the different milestones, twists and turns along the way. And personally, I'm grateful that NCSEA has had a seat at each of these convening tables every step of the way. The bottom photo is of Governor Cooper's bill signing this fall that included the Republican and Democratic leadership of both the House and the Senate, which is very noteworthy. For a bill that's only 11 pages long, House Bill 951 contains a lot of different policies. For today's discussion, I'm going to focus on the electricity customer-focused programs in the bill, which I've highlighted here, which create opportunities for businesses and other clean energy consumers to engage in the implementation process that's already underway at the North Carolina Utilities Commission. Most notably, House Bill 951 requires the North Carolina Utilities Commission to reduce carbon emissions by 70% by 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. And the commission is required to do so in a least cost manner. In practice, this means there will be lots of discussion, both formally and informally, in developing a carbon plan to meet these requirements. The Commission has already opened a proceeding and directed Duke to work with stakeholders to develop an initial proposal by May 16th, 2022, that will then be formally commented on by other parties and evaluated by the Commission before the Commission finalizes its carbon plan by December 31st of next year. This is a very important opportunity for large energy consumers and ratepayers to engage before the Commission, either formally or via customer comment letters. Another major provision of House Bill 951 is the authorization of performance-based regulation, or PBR. PBR gives the North Carolina Utilities Commission an additional tool in their toolbox, allowing them to adopt performance incentive mechanisms, or PIMs, that reward or penalize the utility based on their performance towards certain policy objectives. The Commission has already created a rulemaking proceeding to adopt rules governing PBR, and most parties have proposed extensive stakeholder engagement to inform the Commission's decisions on appropriate policy objectives and PIMs. While the exact timing of this process is unclear, House Bill 951 requires the Commission to finalize PBR rules by February 10th. Depending on what process the Commission adopts for stakeholder engagement on developing policy objectives and PIMs, Duke has indicated that it may file a PBR application as soon as summer of 2022. House Bill 951 also directs the North Carolina Utilities Commission to undertake significant work related to customer-facing renewable energy programs. The legislation directs the Commission to revise its net metering policy, as well as to evaluate standby charges, which are often cited as a major barrier to commercial and industrial customers adopting rooftop solar. The legislation also directs the Commission to create a program for customers to repay energy efficiency investments through a charge on their utility bill, known as tariffed on-bill repayment, and to create a new renewable energy rider. So what does House Bill 951 mean for your business's climate and clean energy goals? It certainly could help you meet these goals, but these programs will only be successful if businesses like yours show up and participate in the development process. What should a renewable energy rider look like? What do you want to see changed in the net metering policy? Decision makers need to hear from you to ensure that these programs meet your needs. These discussions are already starting. The North Carolina Utilities Commission has opened dockets on the carbon plan and performance-based regulation. A settlement agreement for residential net metering has already been filed, but net metering for commercial and industrial customers still needs to be revisited. And House Bill 589's Green Source Advantage program is nearly completely subscribed, so it needs to be expanded or have a new green tariff created for additional participation. So what are the next steps? As I've stressed, implementation of House Bill 951 will be critically important. Much of this work is going to be performed by the North Carolina Utilities Commission, although it is always possible that the General Assembly will tweak the legislation too. NCSEA in particular looks forward to remaining engaged at both the Utilities Commission and the General Assembly and working with our members, partners, and fellow stakeholders to ensure the best possible outcome for North Carolina. So if you aren't already an NCSEA member, we'd love to have you join and work with us in the process. So that gives us a good idea about what's in House Bill 951. So now I think we're ready for some questions.
Peter, thank you for that thorough overview. And I love the visual image of the long and winding road and a Beatles tune. That was great. So now we're going to transition, as Peter said, to some questions to our panel. And Meg, I'm going to go to you first. As Peter said, there are different issues: carbon reduction goals, customer-focused renewable energy programs included in House Bill 951. It's been under development for several years, and the bill itself went through numerous changes at the North Carolina General Assembly throughout much of 2021 before the governor signed it into law in mid-October. So Meg, you actively engaged in that process, meeting with numerous legislators like Chairman Soka. So would you tell us more about why this was important to Nestle?
Absolutely, Susan. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this important panel today and discuss the passage of HB 951. Nestle Purina decided just a couple of years ago now to invest in the state of North Carolina with one of our first brand new plants in over 20 years. one of a brand new factory location. And we're looking to invest about $450 million in the construction of a state-of-the-art pet food manufacturing facility in Eden that'll be home to about 300 employees. And so we're very much looking forward to the opening of that factory in late 2022 or early 2023. And part of the reason that it was really attractive for us to come to the state of North Carolina is because we have some really strong corporate global goals that we have as Nestle and a roadmap to get us to net zero by 2050. A huge chunk of that is our ability to procure cost-effective and reliable renewable energy for all of our manufacturing facilities that we have across the U.S. Nestle Purina will have now 23 facilities when we're able to open Eden, and Nestle as a total has over 80 facilities across the U.S. So a critical goal that we have in meeting our renewable energy goals is that ability to procure cost-effective and reliable renewable energy. Part of what made the state of North Carolina so attractive for us to build our Eden facility there is the fact that there was such a commitment to the renewable energy sector and to partnering with businesses like Nestle on their path to 100% clean energy. I know from the meetings that I was involved in that this was a major initiative for a lot of other companies who have a huge presence in North Carolina as well. So we are really grateful for the work and the effort that the General Assembly did in making sure that 951 was in the best possible place it could be once it was passed and signed into law by the governor. So thank you, Representative, you, your staff, and everyone else in the General Assembly.
That's great. Thank you. And once again, welcome again. And we look forward to the grand opening of your new facility in North Carolina. Representative Soka, we have a couple of questions for you. I feel certain you have a few things to add to this conversation. You've been one of the strongest leaders in our state for close to a decade in bringing together bipartisan support for clean energy projects, investments, and stronger clean renewable energy efficiency, electric transportation policies that meet the rapidly growing customer demand, just like what Meg discussed. So for all of that, thank you. And here comes the question. So we know that North Carolina is home to hundreds of businesses from Main Street in all of our communities to Fortune 100 companies that have clean energy goals, like many that are attending today and viewing today. Some have achieved those goals. Some have experienced challenges. What is your advice and your guidance to these companies on how to best engage with either policymakers or other state officials to help those companies reach their goals?
Well, first, thank you for that very kind introduction. I appreciate that. Engage is the true word that we need to focus on. We need to engage with state legislators, with members of Congress, with regulators, because if you're not engaged, people make decisions in a vacuum. It's very difficult to handle a lot of different things. I mean, I focus on a couple things: tax policy, energy policy, and military issues. Different people focus on different things. They don't understand what your companies need, really, in terms of renewable energy and what your corporate goals are. So you have to educate them. And it's not just done on an email here or how are you doing at a cocktail party. You have to make a concerted effort to meet with people in the districts that you're in and talk to them. You know, an example of that is in 951, industry was very involved in that. And somebody asked me what that process was like. And I said it was kind of like being in a dentist chair for 6 months, having all your teeth extracted with no Novocaine. And I can see Peter and other people on the screen saying, yeah, it was kind of like that. But you know what? If there wouldn't have been engagement from people like Nestle and Biogen and SAS and Google and numerous breweries and banks and people who were the real stakeholders in this, we couldn't have made it happen. So you have to be engaged. And now that 951 is passed, you have to stay engaged. It's not just the associations that are going to be in front of the Utilities Commission. You've got to keep track of what's going on. If you're not in the professional association now, I encourage you to join because they will keep you informed of when and where you need to show up to let the Utilities Commission know what your corporate goals are and what best serves corporate America. It's just really important to do that. I want to give an example of in real life how that works. When I first went to the General Assembly, first of all, I'm a conservative Republican. When I first went to the General Assembly, I thought that the only thing that kept the solar industry going was tax credits from the state and federal government. Well, I had a lobbyist come to my office and say, well, that's interesting. Would you like some information that I can give you? And I said, sure. So I read it. And it was this back and forth with first one lobbyist and numerous lobbyists and corporate America that made me realize that solar energy at the time, this is going back a few years, was really one of the low cost sources of energy. So it kind of clicked for me. So when you deal with legislators and members of Congress and other people, they don't always know that. It makes a difference when you get engaged, when you have one-on-ones with people, not just in the building or in the halls of Congress, but in the home district where they are, where you can go have a cup of coffee and everybody's not in a suit and a tie and feeling all whatever. So the bottom line from this whole thing is get engaged, stay engaged, and stay current on your information as well.
Thank you. That's great advice. And I think there will be some folks on the call today that you may hear from shortly.
But that's fine.
So as you mentioned, so you have sponsored numerous clean energy bills over the years, which of course we appreciate. And so we have a question here. Can you share another example of a story or outreach that worked for you that might positively resonate with other elected officials?
Yeah, I think I can. There's an interaction, obviously, between federal policy, what Congress does, and state policy. And as a state legislator, we have to, well, we should remain aware of what's going on at the federal level and try and link up and match what we're able to do at the state level with what's happening there. One of the things that was federally funded that I got involved with here locally at Fayetteville Technical Community College was a thing called Solar Ready Vets, short for veterans. Being a veteran myself, basically it took people coming right out of the military and it taught them the skills that they needed to get involved in the solar industry and not just installing, but at the operations management level and even above that. They had, I think the first class at FTCC was 24 people. The highest rank was a lieutenant colonel and the lowest rank was an E5 sergeant. So they went through this course. It was federally funded and learned, and it was 100% job placement. And let me give a pitch for military too, is that when people come out of the military, you know that they're going to follow orders, and it's not blind orders. It's that they will do what they're told. They're not going to argue with you, but they're going to show up for work on time and that they're drug free. And at the entry level jobs in your company, if you're like some of the companies I've owned and had to deal with that, those are three traits which you wish everybody had, but they don't. So again, the Solar Ready Vets at your local community college, and that's continued on for a while. There are other opportunities like that, but legislators, members of Congress, and you in the community have to say, we need whatever it is you need and let us know so we can help craft those programs.
Those are great examples, especially Solar Ready Vets, and I'm really glad that you brought that up. It all has to do with jobs and workforce development opportunities. So I recently participated in a panel discussion at an economic development summit at Elizabeth City State University, and I want to share an excerpt from an interview we captured with Chancellor Carrie Dixon. Take a look.
This summit actually is the start of conversations around how we can continue to contribute to workforce development, sustainable energy, all those different areas that we have not in the past tapped into. And so when we think about our position at a university, a senior institution in this area right here in northeastern North Carolina, we have to think broadly. We have to think about our impact and how we can help the citizens of this region better understand our relationship with offshore energy and collaboration and our wind turbines. We have over 100 right here in our county. And so as we, think about from an academic standpoint of degrees, we are interested in looking at a sustainability degree where we are training our students to be able to go out and be prepared for those types of jobs. And so I'm excited about that. In fall of 2019, we started an Unmanned Aircraft Systems degree, also known as drones. And so when you think about a degree coupled drones coupled with sustainability, I mean, that's the wave of the future. So we are definitely focused on creating innovative jobs and jobs that are really going to help us in the future from the standpoint of agriculture, inspecting wind turbines, all those things that really matter to how productive we are as a region are critical. And our partnership with our community college here in Elizabeth City, College of the Albemarle, they're doing outstanding work in this effort. So the president, Jack Bagwell, and I will be talking about ways that we can continue to partner and collaborate. But I'm just excited about the opportunities I think the university has in store.
Thank you to Chancellor Dixon for sharing her thoughts on the opportunity with sustainable energy in the state and at Elizabeth City State University. So we have perhaps the last question for our panelists. So the last topic we'd like to discuss is electric vehicles or electric transportation infrastructure, and specifically the new federal funding programs and high-tech manufacturing opportunities that North Carolinians and our communities will benefit from in the months and years ahead due to the U.S. Congress passage of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill and the president signing it into law just a few weeks ago. If we could have just a brief answer from each of you on what you're most excited about for electric transportation opportunities in North Carolina in 2022. Representative Soka, I'll let you go first.
Okay, well, thank you for that question. Like many things, electric transportation is about consumer choice. And I think the consumers, for a variety of reasons, have said that they want more options in their cars, their light pickup trucks. The industry has responded to that. The new electric Ford 150, the Rivian, there's any number of these things that are coming out. I've passed a bill that helped that with charging stations to reduce charging station anxiety, if you will. So I think consumer choice is going to push that down the road, so to speak. And we'll see more and more electric vehicles on the roads.
Meg, how about you?
Awesome. I am so excited about our electric transportation efforts that we have underway. Nestle does not own the vast majority of our fleets that we use as part of our distribution network. And so we are looking at a number of things. First and foremost, we're piloting two projects at two of our current operational factories where we are piloting medium weight electric vehicles that will stay within our factory campus. So think of things like forklifts or security vehicles and whatnot. Those pilots are both underway. We're thrilled to be working on them and I hope to expand that out to a wider swath of our factory footprint in the near future. The other thing that we're really excited about with the passage of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act is the increased focus that the federal government and that I feel a lot of state governments are going to have on how we can get medium and heavy duty vehicles to electrification. That is going to take significant investment in infrastructure. It's going to take us really looking at how we do that in the most cost-efficient manner and how we can partner with the folks that we work with in the trucking industry to really make that a reality. So we are very excited to kind of be on the cusp in the forefront of that work that's going forward.
Wow, that's great. And that medium to heavy duty electric innovation space is definitely a sweet spot for North Carolina. So Peter, how about you?
I think I am excited about the fact that it is a sweet spot for North Carolina. I'm excited about the manufacturers that we already have here in the state, in particular the medium and heavy duty trucks that are manufactured here in North Carolina, but also the charging stations and other infrastructure components that are built here. And I want our state to recruit more. So whether it's Toyota building an electric vehicle battery factory in North Carolina or any other opportunity, I'm hoping businesses will look at North Carolina for electric vehicle manufacturing.
That's great. Thank you so much. And really quickly, we've got a crystal ball rapid fire question for each of you. All right, it's 5 years from now. We're heading into 2027. What are some of the biggest changes, advancement in the North Carolina clean energy landscape? Peter.
North Carolina's first offshore wind farm is operational off the Outer Banks, and we've recruited manufacturers coming through the Port of Morehead City in eastern North Carolina to build the 8,000 components that go into those turbines. Meaningful improvements for low and moderate income customers to help them reach renewable energy. And finally, North Carolina is moving towards market competition in our utility regulation.
Sounds good to me. Representative.
Well, I don't have that good of an answer because frankly, the answer is I don't know. And that's based on experience. In 2017, we passed a bill that wanted to study the implementation of large storage batteries because at the time, in 2017, utility scale storage was supposed to come on board by 2030. By the time the study was done, it was already being fielded. I don't know what the answer is, but the one thing I do know about this industry is it's one of the most innovative, technologically advanced industries around. If I was going to make a prediction, I'd probably be wrong, but the prediction that I will make is that whatever's going to happen 5 years from now, it's going to cost less, it's going to be more widely accepted across the state and the nation, and it's going to be good for our state and our country.
Hear, hear. Yes, Meg, how about you?
5 years from now, Nestle Purina's Eden facility will be up and running for 3 to 4 years, and it'll be running on 100% renewable energy, green renewable energy that we source from the state of North Carolina. So at that point, we will be able to proudly say that we've been a part of the North Carolina economy for a couple of years, and we're looking forward to many more to come.
That all sounds great to me. I can't wait for all of that to happen and working together to make sure that it does. Panelists, Representative Soka, Peter, and Meg, thank you so much. Great discussion. And now I believe we'd like to make sure each of our panelists do remain here on camera with us. I believe we have a special recognition for one of our panelists, and it will be presented by Lori Barnhart.
Thank you, panelists. And that was an awesome discussion. And thank you so much, Susan, for leading that for us. We have a special surprise today for Representative John Soka, one of our panelists. As we heard during the panel discussion, and as everyone who has been involved with clean energy policies in North Carolina over the last 6 to 8 years knows, that Representative Soka has been our ultimate top-level Supreme Commander clean energy champion. And in fact, several of us have joked over the last few years that he won all of our organization's awards years ago. So just check out his walls and his bookcases in his legislative office next time you go to see him. I could go on and on applauding him for all of his different renewable energy, energy efficiency, electric transportation bills that he's sponsored or co-sponsored since 2013. Or the tremendous amount of work that he's done behind the scenes to improve bills or stop things that would harm the clean energy industry and customers. And for those of you who don't know Representative Soka, he recently announced he will be retiring from the North Carolina General Assembly at the end of his term next year, and he will be running for the U.S. Congress in 2022. Representative Soka, you are our ultimate clean energy champion, and it is my honor to present you with this very special, outstanding public service award for your remarkable leadership and achievement in expanding clean energy opportunities and market competition in North Carolina. Thank you, Representative Soka, and you will be greatly missed.
I did not expect this, and I so much appreciate it. Working with the renewable energy industry has been eye-opening to me, because coming from a conservative viewpoint, it's all about delivering energy to consumers at the lowest cost possible. And in all aspects of renewable energy, I've seen NCSEA push that. I've seen all the member companies push for that. And everyone that I've had the pleasure to work with has put up with me sometimes. And it's just, I'm very appreciative of this, and thank you very much.
And now we're going back to our awards. So Susan, I'm going to toss it right back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. And yes, what an amazing, robust discussion we had with our panelists today. And now I'm so excited to move forward with the award presentations for our Clean Energy Award Chamber champions. We have 2 this year, and I'm really pleased to present the first award to the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy is presenting this award to the Wilmington Chamber for the following. First and foremost, the Wilmington Chamber is always ready to engage in discussions where clean energy, whether it's solar, clean energy goals, or offshore wind, can bring economic investment and job creation to the Wilmington area. In particular, the Wilmington Chamber's involvement to learn more about how offshore wind development will bring job opportunities and port investments to the city and the region. Also, under the direction of Natalie English's leadership, the CEO and president of the Wilmington Chamber, the Chamber's involvement with the City of Wilmington Clean Energy Task Force, which is working to fight climate change by committing to clean energy over the next 30 years. And also the Chamber's outstanding recognition of clean energy entrepreneurship with the selection of Cape Fear Solar Systems to receive the Coastal Entrepreneur Award earlier this year. So as you can see here, the leadership adds up. Natalie, great work. We're so excited to recognize your leadership this year, and I believe the best is yet to come for Wilmington.
Susan, thank you so much for sending this award to the Wilmington Chamber of Commerce. We are honored by it. We don't do what we do to win awards, and instead we really do what we do to positively impact our community. Our vision is to promote prosperity by cultivating business growth, and we're excited that we were able to award one of our businesses and the recognition of their growth as an entrepreneur, Cape Fear Solar Systems, and they received even broader recognition when the Greater Wilmington Business Journal included all of the Chamber's Entrepreneur Award winners in their annual Coastal Entrepreneur Awards event. So much broader than just the Wilmington Chamber as far as that recognition is concerned. Cape Fear Solar and their team are doing fantastic things. I'm also very proud of the time that I spent during a pandemic as the city hosted meetings virtually of the Clean Energy Task Force that the mayor asked me to co-chair. We worked on those ideas and those solutions where the city of Wilmington can be a player in affecting climate change in our community, and they're doing great things to try to affect that outcome. And then finally, we are really, really excited about the implications of offshore wind, the number of jobs and the impact to our regional economy. We know that our region should be a major player in that industry. We have great access to the ports. There's a lease area right off our coast, and we're excited about the number of jobs that can create and the impact it will have, again, on clean energy in the future. So Susan, I just want to again say thank you so much to you and to Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy for this award. We are so excited at the Wilmington Chamber to accept it.
Excellent work, Natalie and Team Wilmington Chamber. To present our next Chamber Champion Award is a champion of clean energy himself, Representative Larry Strickland, who during his time at the General Assembly has proven to be a great leader for North Carolina's electricity customers. Welcome, Representative Strickland.
Thank you, Susan. First, I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's event, and congratulations to all of the award winners. I also want to say thank you to each of you who met with me or my colleagues during this year's long legislative session, and for advocating for stronger clean energy policies and more market competition. Keep up that great work, and I hope we can make more progress on my utility market reform study bill, HB 611, in 2022. Now it's my pleasure to present the next Clean Energy Champions Award to one of the best chambers of commerce in the state. And yes, it's located right here in Johnston County, which I represent with Representative Donna White and John Bell. Congratulations to the Clayton Chamber of Commerce and its tireless leader, Dana Wooten.
Hello. First, I would like to thank Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy and Conservatives for Clean Energy for recognizing the Clayton Chamber of Commerce with this year's Clean Energy Champion Award. And thank you to Representative Strickland for his kind remarks and leadership in energy development in Johnston County and in the state of North Carolina. Clean energy, including solar, brings numerous opportunities to our area and extends our mission to help build economic growth in our community. The economic benefits of large-scale solar investment include the creation of new jobs and tax revenues that help build a stronger Johnston County with additional funding for infrastructure like emergency services and school. These benefits are literally life-changing. And there's more. Our CCOC investors have now aggressive clean energy goals. One example is Novo Nordisk, who was named a Clean Energy Champion recipient last year. They now power their operations by 100% renewable energy, including a 105 megawatt solar project. What matters to our investors matters to us as well. Thank you again for this award, and we look forward to sharing more clean energy investment stories from the Clayton area.
We grow, cotton for the most part, some soybeans. My name is Ken Gaganis. My family and I operate a small row crop farm in Martin County. In April of 2013, my wife and I received a letter in the mail from Ecoplexus. I gave its due diligence and threw it in the trash. The next day I was at my kitchen sink, washing dishes, and that letter was laying on top of the trash pile. And I said, well, what will it hurt, for us to, inquire about, this offer? And as they say, the rest is history. This was totally, new for us. They offered, financial stability that we were not able to provide for ourselves, in the row crop, farming sector. We still want to provide college education opportunities for our children. Without having a pension plan or a retirement opportunity, the solar industry figured into the decision to make solar a part of our family. That's only just a small portion of what blessing solar has provided, a career, for my two boys. Our two sons formed their own LLC, providing solar maintenance. The finished product and the end result has been a great blessing for our family.
The solar farms produce a much higher income per acre than rural agricultural land.
I'm Larry Strickland. I'm a North Carolina state legislator. I'm a fourth generation owner of a family farm.
In Johnston County, we have 22 solar farms that bring in income of roughly $425,000, and that same acreage in the past brought in roughly $25,000, and that within itself is a 1,900% increase. We're always looking for additional revenue to build schools, to help pay teacher salaries, police.
I certainly understand and appreciate solar energy and economic growth and job creation that is created here in Johnston County.
I hear the pros and cons daily about solar versus farmland. Once you start building subdivisions on farming land, it never returns back. A solar farm, you'll have the option of dismantling that solar farm and its panels and returning it to a farm use. to pass it on to your heirs, your next generation.
On behalf of Conservatives for Clean Energy North Carolina and Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy, I'm so honored to announce this year's awards to legislators in the North Carolina General Assembly. Our first 2021 Clean Energy Champions Legislator of the Year award goes to Representative Harry Warren, who represents Rowan County in District 76. Representative Warren is serving his 6th term in the North Carolina House of Representatives and serves on numerous important committees. But for our purposes today, I'm going to highlight his role on the House Transportation and Finance Committees. Representative Warren, we greatly appreciate your ongoing leadership and tireless efforts to advance several important clean energy and transportation bills during the 2021 legislative session. Specifically, you were selected for this award due to your sponsorship of House Bill 842, Clarify Deed Restrictions, Solar Collectors, which is better known as the Homeowners Association Bill, and 2 bills related to electric vehicles, House Bill 296, EV Charging Station Parking, and House Bill 466, Electric Vehicle Special Registration Plate, which is now part of a larger specialty license plate bill, House Bill 435. All 3 of these bills successfully passed the House earlier this year and are now awaiting action by the Senate. We are hopeful that these bills will pass during the 2022 short session, and I know that many of today's attendees want to keep working with you, Representative Warren, to get these bills over the finish line. Thank you for all the hard work you did to introduce and move these bills forward, and for your years of service to the great state of North Carolina. We are thrilled to present you with the House Legislative 2021 Clean Energy Champions Award. Thank you.
I greatly appreciate this opportunity to thank Conservatives for Clean Energy and the Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy for this honor. As the demand for efficient, cleaner energy increases, it's incumbent upon society's leaders, be they social, corporate, or political, to recognize and act upon the need to support the research and development of advancements in the respective fields of alternative energy. It's equally important that government leaders work to remove obstructive, antiquated regulations and rules that inhibit the implementation and utilization of alternative energy sources. Additionally, incentives to promote the use of alternative energy should be considered by officials at the city and county levels. Programs for the strategic implementation of vehicle charging stations, reasonable HOA rules for solar panel locations, and monetary credits for the use of alternative energy should be taken into consideration. These are just among the simple ways to facilitate the expansion and promotion of alternative energy. I'm proud to be the primary sponsor of House Bill 842, House Bill 296, and House Bill 466. Along with my co-sponsors, Representative Bobby Hannig, Howard Penny, Jerry Carter, Julie Van Hafen, John Zoka, and John Autry, I accept this award on their behalf, and we all thank you very much for this recognition. Thank you.
Our second legislative award goes to Senator Todd Johnson, who represents District 35 in Union County. Senator Johnson is currently serving his 2nd term in the North Carolina Senate and is chair of the Appropriations for Agriculture, Natural, and Economic Resources Committee and the Commerce and Insurance Committee. He also serves on the Finance, Healthcare, Rules, and Transportation Committees, and all of these play an important role. Senator Johnson, we appreciate your ongoing leadership and efforts to advance several important clean energy bills during the 2021 legislative session. We are so pleased today to honor you with our 2021 Clean Energy Champions Legislative of the Year Award for your sponsorship of Senate Bill 358, also known as the CPACE bill. This bill is a much-needed financing tool to advance resiliency and increase efficiency while reducing utility bills for commercial building owners. Senator Johnson, thank you again for all of your work on this legislation. And I know that many of our attendees today look forward to continuing to work with you during the 2022 legislative short session to pass this legislation. Thank you for your service to North Carolina, and congratulations.
Thank you, Laurie, and thank you, Conservatives for Clean Energy, for this great honor. It's truly been an honor to work with your organization this past session. We got a lot of good things done, and we've still got a little ways to go, and looking forward to next year as well. Senate Bill 358, the CPACE program, has been a very successful program throughout the country. I know over 30 states, it's probably more than that now, have had the opportunity to offer that to businesses in their state, and I hope that North Carolina can be the next one. I know that back in March, Tennessee, I think it was able to get that piece of legislation passed unanimously through both chambers. So it's a very popular bipartisan piece of legislation that gives small businesses the opportunity to make investments in infrastructure and things they need for their businesses and energy efficiencies, and it would be great for our state. It's truly been interesting to see how so many people from so many different walks of life have come together to work on this. We're hoping that 2022 we can get this piece of legislation moving and see some great things for North Carolina. But again, thank you for bestowing this honor upon me. I proudly have this award in my office here, and we'll display it proudly. And I look forward to a great, successful session next year. And thank you very much again, Laurie, for presenting me with this award.
Up next is our Rising Star Legislative Award, which goes to a member of the North Carolina General Assembly who has shown interest and leadership in clean energy initiatives early in their legislative career. This year's Rising Star Award goes to Senator Michael Lazzora, who represents District 6 in Onslow and Jones counties. Senator Lazzora, we greatly appreciate your leadership and efforts to advance several important energy bills during the 2021 legislative session, your first term. During my first meeting with the senator, he proudly told me that he drives an electric vehicle, and he continues to ask questions and meet with different people and businesses to learn more about the economic benefits and opportunities associated with clean energy across Eastern North Carolina. We are proud to honor you with our Clean Energy Rising Star Award today. You were selected for this award due to your sponsorship of Senate Bill 358, also known as the CPACE bill, which is a much needed financing tool to advance resiliency, increase efficiency, and reduce utility bills for commercial building owners. Congratulations, Senator. I know that many of our attendees look forward to continuing to work with you during the 2022 legislative short session to pass this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful recognition of this award. I am extremely proud to support common sense initiatives that promote clean energy. Of course, change is often hard, but we think it's critical that we begin to be open-minded and privy to the environmental changes occurring all around us. I will continue to support good common sense energy policy, and I continue to look forward to partnering with you in the future on other endeavors. I want to thank you again for this very honorable award, and like to ask you to keep up the good work, and we'll continue the good fight.
Traditionally, we have only recognized state legislators with our annual Clean Energy Champions Award. However, this year, for the first time, we felt we could not let the opportunity slip by and not recognize one of North Carolina's congressional members for his valuable leadership in expanding clean energy opportunities and market competition. And I have to add, his efforts and leadership on these important issues began while he was serving as Speaker in the North Carolina General Assembly from 2011 through 2014, and has continued in the years since in the United States Senate. On behalf of Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy and my organization, Conservatives for Clean Energy North Carolina, it is my honor to present Senator Tom Tillis with the 2021 Clean Energy Leadership Award. But I need to brag on him a little bit first. Senator Tillis has been incredibly supportive of clean energy efforts in North Carolina, And as he said, and I quote, both parties need to work together to deploy an innovative, market-driven strategy to combat the impact of climate change. Senator Tillis understands the value of clean energy, not only that it's good for the environment, but the jobs and business opportunities it creates and the billions of dollars in economic investment it brings to North Carolina's rural communities is just absolutely unparalleled. And earlier this year, he was a lead negotiator of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, which passed Congress and was signed into law by the president a few weeks ago. And we thank him for his work because it will deliver much needed infrastructure investments, clean energy technologies, and high-tech manufacturing that will create thousands of new jobs right here in North Carolina. Senator Tillis, thank you for your leadership and your forward-thinking vision for clean energy opportunities, not only in North Carolina, but our entire country. Congratulations and thank you for your service to the great state of North Carolina.
Well, Laurie, thank you. I also want to thank Conservatives for Clean Energy and Chambers for Innovation in Clean Energy for recognizing work that no one of us did. I happen to lead a chamber and I've worked hard at it, but I want to thank all the legislative members who came together and beginning in the state legislature when we took the majority, common sense approaches to clean energy and addressing climate change. I love the fact that North Carolina is one of the top ranked states in the nation for solar energy. That was work that we did many years ago that's bearing fruit. And over the next week or so, we're going to hear some exciting news about electric vehicles in North Carolina. We're going to continue to make progress up in the Senate. And I think that a good step in that direction was the bipartisan infrastructure bill. That bill has billions of dollars dedicated to pursuing clean energy alternatives, to provide an incentive for the private sector to create charging stations, to get the infrastructure in place. It's going to be necessary for the next generation of electric vehicles. But we also want to look at all of the above in terms of clean energy options. That's why we have research dollars set aside for hydrogen fuel, solar, wind, electric vehicles, and any number of emerging technologies that I think we've got to work to get to a point to where they're financially sustainable. It's going to be great for our economy. It's going to create millions of jobs, and it's also going to be great for our environment. So as we move forward, we've got to implement the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It won't occur overnight, but I think it's a great step in the right direction, and it's another step in a long journey that I intend to continue on as long as I'm in the U.S. Senate. So on behalf of all the legislators, the Senate members, the House members, my friends down in the General Assembly who are focused on conservative, sustainable, clean energy solutions, I appreciate this award, and I look forward to looking ahead to making much, much more progress in the years to come. So Laurie, again, thank you. Thank you, the Conservatives for Clean Energy, and once again, the Chambers for Innovation and Clean Energy. We're going to keep on working and hope to make you proud.
Senator Tillis, thank you so much for being with us today, and congratulations on your award. And thank you to everybody for attending today's Clean Energy Champions event. And for sure, the clean energy story is a long and winding road. And we all sincerely hope our businesses, chambers, and legislator and panelist success stories and comments will inspire many of you to be one of next year's Clean Energy Champions.
So now it is time to do what so many of us have been doing over the last year and a half, at least, virtually network and connect. So you will see on your Zoom screen, you can take your mouse and you can hover down and you will see breakout rooms at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Hover over that and you will select one of the breakout rooms to go into. And we will just spend some time just connecting with one another and talking about all things clean energy related in North Carolina. So go ahead and select your breakout room.